here. It is Thursday the 21st of November. So today I am starting to prep for making my first ever Christmas fruitcake. So this is either going to go one way or the other because I've never baked a cake of this size before. I've done obviously lots of baking over the years, but never to this extent. So it's really my first ever dabble into this. So if it goes well, it'll probably be something that I start to do every year. But what I wanted to do was just take you on the journey with me because I'm starting it now because there is a process with this. So I'm going to show you the ingredients that are going to go into the cake and then talk you through the process of what is going to happen over the course of this upload, essentially. So I'll catch you in a minute. So I'm essentially following Mary Berry's Christmas cake recipe. So I'm going to link it for you in the comments box so you can, try it yourself and make it maybe next year or whenever you decide to do one, because obviously fruitcake is lovely no matter what time of the year it is. So I've got my ingredients out in front of me. So what you need is essentially 175 grams of raisins. You need 350 grams of natural glacé cherries. So I've got 2 pots here, and the recommendation is that you rinse these and dry them a little bit and half them. So I'm going to do that in a moment. And then we have some currants here. So I need 500 grams of currants. I then need 35 grams of sultanas, and there are a couple of alterations you could do. You can switch out some of the raisins for some mixed fruit or something along the lines of that. You then need 1/4 of a pint of brandy. So I know absolutely nothing about brandy, but there was a lady in Tesco who I got chatting to about making cakes because she was selecting some brandy, and she said this one, which is a cheap brandy, is absolutely perfect for cake and baking, so that's good. You then need 250 grams of butter, 4 eggs, which I've got here ready. You need some black treacle, which is just sitting there. So I've got my black treacle. You need 275 grams of plain flour, and then you need some 250 grams of muscovado sugar, which is sitting there. 1.5 teaspoons of mixed spice, and then some blanched almonds. So you need 75 grams of the blanched almonds. And then you need the zest off 2 oranges. So I've got the 2 oranges in my fruit bowl. So I will reconvene with you just now. So essentially the recommendation is that you soak all of the fruit in the brandy for 3 days. And that will allow the fruit to soak up the brandy properly. So I thought I would do this now. That will then take me through to Sunday morning, at which point I will bake the cake on Sunday, and I'd obviously add all of the rest of the ingredients in. So I'm going to prep everything now, measure everything out and get it in the bowl and get the brandy in. So yeah, stay tuned and watch this space. So I'm going to measure 350 grams of the natural glacé cherries, and then it's recommended that you rinse them and then cut them in half and then leave them to dry for a little while. And then I'm just zesting 2 oranges, and at this point the house is smelling amazing. Next in goes 175 grams of raisins, 500 grams of currants, and 35 grams of sultanas. And then I'm just going to add the cherries to the rest of the fruit in this mixing bowl, and then I'm going to pour out my brandy. So I'm going for 150 ml or 1/4 of a pint of brandy. I'm just going to bring all of this together. Honestly, I wish there was smell-o-vision right now. This smells absolutely unbelievable. So I'm just gonna mix in all of the brandy with the ingredients in here. And then I'm gonna add in the orange zest in just a moment once I've brought this together. But it smells gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I'm just going to add in the orange zest now and just bring that all together, and then I'm going to just cover this with cling film, and then, oh god, that zest smells awesome, and then just store it for 3 days, and then just stir it periodically so the next time you see this it will be ready to bring together on Sunday and bake. So I will see you Sunday. Take care, bye. Hi everyone, it is Sunday the 24th of November and today is cake baking day, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous about it. So I've never baked a Christmas cake, as you know, so my fruit has been soaking for 3 days like I was told to do. I mean, to be honest, it absorbed the whiskey like within a day, so it's well boozed up fruit, let's just say. Into the mixing bowl goes 250 grams of softened butter and 250 grams of dark muscovado sugar. And then I'm just going to chop 75 grams of blanched almonds and then put those into the mixing bowl as well. This is followed by 4 large eggs which have been kept at room temperature, and a tablespoon of black treacle. So in now this beautiful gorgeous smelling mixture goes 275 grams of plain flour, and then I'm going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of mixed spice. So I've brought in my 3-day soaked fruit. I've just taken the cling film off the top of it, and I'm not gonna lie, the smell in the house at the minute with these two, it's honestly, it's like Christmas. I wish there was smell-o-vision right now. I might not when the cake burns, but right now it smells awesome. So I'm going to transfer everything to this super-sized bowl and give it a good mix. And then everything just gets a really, really good stir. So I'm going to line the baking tin now. So they say to grease the edges thoroughly first. I'm just taking some sunflower oil. I hope this is okay. And I'm just going to give the tin a really good coating, and apparently this helps the paper to stick to it, allegedly. So now I've got my non-stick grease-proof paper and I'm going to prepare to line the tin. Now there's quite a few ways of doing this, allegedly, but I'm going to try and make it as precise as I possibly can, because obviously this is the first attempt at ever making a cake. So what I want to do is draw around the tin, and then I'm going to double it over, because in this recipe it says to double line it, so I don't know how much difference that will make, but I do want to do it that way if that's what was recommended. Honestly, you would think I was like some sort of cake baking expert, wouldn't you? And I'm really not, as you will see, no doubt. So I'm going to cut around this circle, but I'm going to go a little bit larger than the circle itself. So I'm going to probably give maybe an extra, it's not quite an inch, is it? Maybe 3/4 of an inch around it. And then I'm just going to snip into the point where I measured the circle. Cool! Right, I'm going to do the outer edge now. And I'm going to cut it in half. Yeah. I'm going to cut this in half and have it taller than the actual baking tray. Not gonna lie, I am cheating. My oven has baking assist on it. It's not something I use very often, obviously. I did bake my Christmas tarts in it last year and they turned out perfectly. So I'm just heating the oven to 180 degrees and it's gonna be on for roughly 4 hours. It does say about 4 hours, 4.5 hours to bake, but it just depends. So I will check on it after a couple of hours to see how it's doing. It's out, so it took about 4 hours 15 to cook, I want to say. So I did cover it with tin foil about 2 hours in, just to stop the top from going off, but it's nice and firm, it smells amazing. The skewers are coming out of it clear, so I know it's cooked in the middle. So I'm going to let that cool down now for a wee while, and then I'll turn it out and then wrap it and store it away. So I will be feeding this a couple of times just with some brandy poured on it, so I will do that, but you will see this no doubt through Vlogmas anyway. So I'm going to catch you soon. The next official time will be when we come to decorate marzipan and ice it up, so I'll see you soon. Bye. Hello, welcome back. It's Sunday the 15th, so I am ready to marzipan and ice my little cake. I'm really excited. So this is the cake. I'll show you it in a minute. I've been feeding it relatively regularly with some of my brandy. I've just been tipping like a tablespoon over it from time to time, so usually once a week. So it's been fed about 3 times. I've got a cake board and box that I picked up from Home Bargains the other night, so I'm going to set it on there. I've got my marzipan here. I've cheated and got the pre-rolled fondant icing. I mean, that could go either way, we'll see. If not, I can always make my own royal icing anyway. So I've got my icing sugar for rolling out the marzipan on, and then apricot jam to stick the marzipan to the cake. So I need to bring that to a boil. So I'm going to just put it in a bowl and heat it in a pan of water. I think that's probably the best thing, and then brush it on the cake and then have a go at rolling the marzipan out. I've never done this before. I'm hoping it works. I don't have a lot of the tools to do this. Apparently you can get like these like spreader things, but you know, I've got hands, so you know, that helps. So I'm gonna get the cake set on the little board and I'll be back in a minute. So once I've got the cake set on the board, I did watch a tutorial which suggested that you pack marzipan underneath the bottom of the cake, you know, where it's domed from the top. And then I'm just taking the apricot jam that I've sieved and spreading that on the top. And now I'm just going to knead out the marzipan and prepare to roll it. marzipan's on. I mean, to be fair, I wish I'd rolled it a bit thicker, but it's on now, so you know, it is what it is. So I've been a bit naughty, and while you weren't looking, I went ahead and rolled the marzipan again, and I put the second layer on, so I'm only left with that now. It just seems such a waste to not cover it, and yeah, it's not perfect now and super smooth, but to be honest, I don't actually really care. It's more about what it tastes like, isn't it? I mean, I'm going to dress it and put ribbon on it, so you're not going to see any unevenness anyway. And yeah, I mean, it's going to look good for about 10 minutes while people ooh and ah at it, and then we're going to eat it, aren't we? So I'd far rather it tasted better than, you know, looked good for the sake of half an hour. So there we are. I'm going to now get the icing out. So I don't think my icing is quite big enough. It says it's for like a 7-inch cake, and this is 9. So it's going to depend on how tall their cake is as to whether or not this actually fits. So I'm just going to try and unroll it and then sort of slap it on the top of the cake. It's all these descriptive words I've got, isn't it? So I'm just going to try and centre it as best I can, and then just peel off and then try and manoeuvre it around. Yeah, I think it might just be slightly short. Oh, maybe it will just do it. Oh, I think it's just big enough. I just need to centre it a little bit better so I can just drag it this way a little bit without putting my fingers through it. Yeah, I think it's a bit short at the back. Yeah, I'm just going to position this, and then I'll be back when I've sort of laid it on. Yeah, it's going to be fine. What I'll do is I'll lay it, and then I'll just give it a little tug on the sides just to get it into position, and I can just stretch it ever so slightly down and sort of press it round. It's a little bit lumpy bumpy where it's been around the roller in the pack, but that's not really the end of the world, I don't think. I'm just going to tidy it and pull it into position. I'll be back when I've done that. I'll see you in a minute. I'm just using the palm of my hand to smooth out the icing, but I will get the proper spreaders next year, but this was recommended as an alternative to the spreaders. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. Is it perfect? No, it's not, but it's the sentiment it was made with, isn't it? That's more important. So now we get to do the fun bit. We're going to decorate it. So if you saw my recent Home Bargains Matalan haul, you'll have seen this ribbon, so I'm going to put this ribbon around the edge. I did pick up these white edible roses, which may go on, we will see. And then there was some gingerbread men and some wreaths. These are like wafers. I don't think I'll use those, but I did get some toppers from Amazon. So I got snowman and snow dog, and then I picked up some trees as well. So I think they're pretty much what are going to decorate it, maybe the roses as well, but we'll have a look. We'll have a play and see how it goes. So I'm going to attach the ribbon with some glass-headed pins to the back. At least this way I'll be able to see them when I remove the ribbon, and nobody's going to end up gumming down on one of those, because that would not be the desired outcome, would it? A trip to A&E on Christmas Day. So yeah, we'll start with the ribbon, and yeah, I'll get some scissors in. It's quite sparkly, as you can see, so I'm just going to do a rough measurement, and then I'm going to take it outside and shake it, because I'm going to try and avoid as much glitter going on the icing as I can. Do you know what? I'm going to leave it like that, I think. So I've put my snowman and snow dog and my little trees on the top, and then I think that ribbon just sets it off a treat. Yeah, I've really enjoyed doing this. I feel that I've learnt a lot. This is the first big cake I have ever made, so I've learnt a lot through the process. I will be more prepared next year. There's lots of little extra tools you can buy to get the finishing right. I've learnt that too. So, but on the whole, I think it's gorgeous. I hope it tastes as good as it looks. So I hope you've enjoyed this journey with me, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.